catch up to speed in case you have network glitches or any of those things. You understand? So basically, it's recording now. Uh, yes, let me confirm that. So yeah, 10 seconds into the recording. Um, you can turn off your cameras, please. It's so that we don't have bad network amongst ourselves because the cameras usually it's a lot of load on the platform. And let's just move. So while this guy is loading, I'm just going to look for another link here. So okay, let me open this one. What does a UI UX designer do? Those that have questions, please chill. You can write your questions down somewhere or answer all your questions. Even if my PC goes off, I'll make sure I connect with my phone and then we can answer all the questions. But we should do the necessary introductions today. Today we're supposed to do something. Yes, yes, I remember. Just hold on one moment. I'm just going to look for that particular file. Where did it go? Where is it? Where is it? Yes, so I think it's this file. Today we're supposed to design this particular file here, this particular one here. But let's see how we can proceed. We might not be able to do that design today. That is because of my battery. But let's push. So what is UI UX design? Let me start with explaining what it is. UI UX design is basically the designing of platforms. If you look at this website here, if you look at this, nah, yeah, I'm tired of admitting people. Uh-uh. That's all that they do. Please, next time, I think we'll just have a time limit to it so that I don't keep coming back to admitting all. This screen is not very friendly. Okay, so the difference between UX and UI design, a beginner's guide. Let me just start from here. Not that we don't have a not that we don't have a slide to follow, but I just want to tell you that you can research yourself and always cross-reference everything with what is in front of you. So UX and UI design are often used interchangeably, but actually they describe different things. So what's UX? Blah blah blah. First thing first, UX design refers to user experience design. Wait, I think someone wants to come. The next time, just for the benefit of everyone, we'll just make sure that 9 o'clock to 9:10 admission. After 9:10, anybody doing to here will just um, will just go away. Good. So UX design refers to user experience design. So what is user experience design? Question one. You can write it down somewhere. Then UI refers to user interface design. So what is user interface in design? That is question two. And then you have both elements are crucial to a product. So what is a product? That's question three. And they work closely together. Now, but despite their professional relationship, the roles themselves are quite different, referring to various to different aspects of the product development process and the design discipline. Let me start by saying that UI UX design is a skill that is going to pay you, if it's in naira, thousands of naira every month, and then if it's in dollars, of course, thousands of dollars every month. Now, the skill pays really well because it's not an easy skill to learn, let alone to master. Now, question one was what is user experience design? If you look at this platform that I'm on right now, you can see the logo here, Career Foundry. You can see courses, learn with us, graduates, online events, and blog. Now, imagine I come to this login here and I'm hovering here because I'm not clicking on it. This is like a hover interaction. You need to take note of that. Hover, meaning I'm hovering on it. You can see I'm just using pointing my mouse around. Now, when I hover on it, you see that it's showing me this white background over there. I can zoom. Let me try to zoom in my screen so that you can see it even better. So I've zoomed in a bit. If you can see it, God bless you. You can see that it's showing this background. That is, I now look at it as okay, this is my experience that when I hover on something here, there's a background to it. That's nice. It shows me that my mouse is active here. So if, for example, I move from this login and I go all the way to blog, yes, this one is still showing me the white background. I can tell that there's something wrong with my PC. There's something wrong with the platform. You get, so the experience becomes odd because I know by default that when I come here, this one should go off, and when I'm here, this one should go off. So user experience design is designing in such a way that the platform in its entirety is going to be worthy of the experience of the user. It's going to give the user a pleasant experience. Do you understand that? Now, whether you don't understand them or not, just chill, just relax. This is the one. So basically, if I go to another platform now, let us say Google, for example, because I can give you examples with any and every platform. One of the things you notice on this platform here is okay, let's look at these icons here at the far right. You can see that when I hover on it, same interaction, there's a background to show you that I am hovering on it, but also there is a pop up message here saying quick settings. Okay, now imagine I left this guy and I went to this one, and this one was still showing me this background. Immediately you can tell as a user experience designer that this is wrong because it gives the user a wrong experience other than what the user should experience. That is it. That is just example number one. So I'm just going to give you another example with another website. I'm going to open any website. You know what? Let me go to Coursera. Basically, because every platform operates under UI UX design. Every platform was designed. Coursera.org is a website, but this website was designed by UI UX designers before it was developed by the developers. So look at this for example. This is Coursera. Now you can see a logo here, and that's nice. When I hover on it, you see nothing happens. There's no interaction. Note that word interaction. Nothing is different about it. Now when I come to these guys here, that's the menu. You can see that when I hover on it, there's an underline. So what I expect is that every link on this platform, like these ones, should have the underline. If I come here and I have this underline, I go to this one and I have a line above and a line under, the experience becomes bad because you start to deceive me because I feel like this is what I should have everywhere. Now the thing is that most of you get very good experience from platforms, but you don't even realize when the experience is bad. But subconsciously, you don't just go back to the same website. So the job of the user experience designer, that is the UX, is to make sure that you have a splendid experience while you are using the platform. Now, I'm going to pause there for UX design, and then I'm going to explain UI design before I take three questions. UI design is interface, user interface, UI, user and interface. So what exactly is user interface? Now, if you look at this platform, I'm just going to try to get it to a responsive mode. Great. So if you look at it now, don't worry about how I did it. It's not something you need to know. I'm just trying to use it to explain. You can see the logo here at the center, but initially the logo was at the top left. You can see we have this menu icon here that indicates that I can open the menu, right? But initially it was spread out. It was not like this. This is user interface, designing how the interface should work. So you can see, I don't see all those blue buttons that I saw when it was on desktop of mode. Like, let me go back there. You see this button join for free. You see this one for explore. Now, I don't see them when I click on inspect to see the website in responsive mode. Responsive, I will explain all of that. You will know all of these terminologies by the next class because I'm going to send you some things to read up on. Most of those things, your assignments will be drawn out of them. That is the only way we can accommodate the knowledge that UI UX design offers within the time span that we have to actually give to this class. Because I am about you making money from this as soon as possible. So this is the user interface. Look at this share button here. You can see that there is a background to it, there's a color to it. That is user interface. User interface is what the user sees what the user can see with his eyes. User experience, which is UX, is what the user feels. So when I scroll down like this, and for example, this guy at the top here scrolls with it, how do I feel? How do I feel if I want to come back to log in or join for free and I have to scroll back to the very top? User experience. So they chose to stick this guy here because this information at the top here is very paramount all through the page. User experience. User interface is this color is blue. Let this one not be shouting red in my eye. Do you understand that? So that is UI versus UX design in summary. I can send you links to read more on that. But that is the summary of what UI UX is. Now, for UI UX design, there is a tool that we use, and the name of this tool is called Figma. So, how do you get Figma? You go to figma.com on your browser, and I opened it. Yeah, I opened this in incognito mode so that I try to start from scratch. Oh, this is so nice. Nothing great is designed alone, built alone, made alone. This is so nice. I feel so nice when you're looking at it. That is the user experience. Do you see that? So they are compelling me to engage the platform because they've told me that nothing great is made alone. And on Figma you can collaborate, meaning you can work with other designers. More of that to come later. So what you want to do when you go to figma.com, my people, is you want to click on get started. When you click on get started, I don't want to think that I have to walk you through the steps of creating an account on Figma because some of these things are too easy for me to actually do with you. But what I want you to do is go to figma.com and you're just going to create an account. It's as simple as that. If you can't do this basic one, that means we might have issues going further because I'm not going to give you all the fish. I'm going to teach you how to fish as well. So this is where you're going to click. This is your seat here to get started, and all you need to do is just all you need to do is make sure you get started on the platform. All right. So you can just continue with Google, and that'll be all. Fill in all the forms they ask you to fill. It doesn't take time at all. Now, when you come into Figma, which is where I'm skipping to now, this is your main concern here. Creating a new design file, right? This is your main concern here. Now, I'm just going to run a quick introduction to Figma, creating a new design file, blah, blah, blah. But before I start with Figma, I'm going to stop and ask or take all the questions that you might have for the next four minutes. I'm going to admit all of these people. So please, we're going to do it like this. If you have a question, you can just signify first. You can just signify first, and I give you permission to speak. So here in the chat section, just write "I have a question" or something, so that so use the chat section instead. Type "I have a question," and then let me see your question.
I have a question.
Please type first that you have a question. I'll give you approval to speak. Okay, please, Mr. Franklin Effect. Okay, just please, what's your question?
Okay, am I allowed to speak?
Yes, please. Your question.
Okay, okay. I want to ask. We said we should go on
You have to
Google and
speak
type
louder
Figma.
so I
I
can
thought we
hear
had
you.
to download. Okay, sorry. Can you hear me clearly? Can you
Yes,
hear
but
me?
it's quite low. But go on.
Oh, okay. Are we supposed to download the Figma software and install on our system, or we should just use Google directly,
Okay,
or
very,
we should just use
very
our
good
browser?
question. Now, the reason why I advise all my designers to use the web version of Figma is because sometimes when you do a file that has like let's say 200 pages, design a website for 30 plus pages, if you're using the software, it might start to lag, it might start to hang. And nobody likes, denial of service. Nobody wants, their laptops to hang and all of that. So I prefer to use the desktop, right? The desktop, the web version. And all my designers use the web version as well, and it works fine. All right. So please, Esther Emod.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry, sorry. Just in addition to my question, now using the browser version of the Figma, would it consume more data than using the software?
No, none of them would consume more or less data. It's the same thing all around. So you can just use the web browser following my guide. So Esther, please, your question. I can see you're the next person here.
Okay, hi. I was on to ask if UI and UX design is it the same thing as front end and back end design also? Otherwise, is your call like that? Oh.
Good question, Esther. I will answer you right now. Let me confirm. Friday, okay, that you don't have a question. You're saying hand raise, do the best. I get to decide that. Okay, so Esther, UI UX design is not the. If you have a question, type in the chat section that you have a question. UI UX design is not the design of front end or back end development. No. If you look at a platform such as this now, for example, this guy, what you're seeing here is the front end, right? What you're seeing here is the front end. The back end is what contains all the codes, like all the codes for that brought about this design, this particular web page. But what UI UX design is we design this platform before it is built, before it is developed at all. So yes, the developers will come here and code this button, but we must have designed this button and told them that this button will sit here and not here. We must have told them that this login will sit close to this one and not here. Else the developers will be as confused as what now. Anyways, they'll be very confused. So we do like 60% of, we do 100% of the thinking job for developers, and then all they have to do is code based on the languages that they are familiar with. So it's not the front end or back end, it is designing interfaces for development, interfaces for products. All right. So brand talk.
All right, thank you.
That's a very nice name, brand talk. Please, what's your question? Brand talk. What's your question, please?
Oh, good. Yeah. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. When it comes to UI UX,
Yes.
um, what's the major difference between the UX and the UI?
Okay. Very good question. So I'm just going to answer you immediately. The UI, like I explained in the class, I don't know if you joined it from the beginning. The UI design is the user interface. That is what the user can see. All of this is the UI. The UX is the user experience. That is what the user feels. If I come to this search bar and I click here, this look at this for example. I did not know that they do this. But now my experience of it makes me expect it when it comes. And it gives me a nice experience because they are showing me what is popular right now. I might come here and not know what I want to learn from Coursera. You understand? The UI is how this guy shapes out. The color of this guy, the color, the fonts. This is the UI, the user interface. The experience is how I felt about this particular action. Imagine if I clicked here to search and they brought this particular guy at the center of my screen. Would that be a better experience compared to where it is right now? That is user experience design. So in the country where I come from, the United States of America, please, I'm not a Nigerian by any means. In the United States of America where I come from, they separate the roles. The UI is not the same person that does the UX. All right. But in Nigeria, our dear beloved country, It's very possible that you see both roles in in one. You understand? So that's why I advise if you learn a good skill, please japa. It's very helpful. Okay, so I want to assume I've answered your question. So please let me just quickly
Yeah,
rush.
yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Noble Ekweme, please, what's your question? Noble Ekweme, I'm waiting for you. I need
Sorry.
to run through Figma.
Sorry, I think my question has actually been answered.
Okay,
But although what I wanted to ask basically was because I've seen some job roles that are being posted,
okay,
especially on international freelance platforms, and they'll be like, we need a UI designer to do so and so and all that, and they list their requirements, must be conversant with Figma and some other tools they usually list. But it's just in line with what you stated. I wanted to know exactly, is it possible that someone could just do only UI on a particular website or game development software, and you won't be the one to do the UX, or you just do a UX and you won't be the one to do the
very
UI. So
good question,
that's actually what I wanted
Mr.
to ask.
Noble. Yes, I think I've answered you, right?
Yeah, but maybe you could throw more light on that because for some of us in Nigeria,
Yes.
like you rightly stated, that uh,
Yes.
most
So let me explain it.
most
You can see that
yeah.
I'm actually running out of battery, and I just want to make sure I go into Figma and touch one or two things immediately we before we go out of this desktop view. You understand? This is just an introduction into what we have to do. So let me explain it again, my Mr. Noble. In a very civilized country such as where I come from, the US, now the UI person will just be interested in things such as colors, font choices. You understand? Interested in maybe spacings, the space in between this. That is his interest. He's not interested in the experience. He's not interested in wireframing. He's only interested in applying the right techniques to get the interface looking very captivating. The UX person is invested into the UX design, making sure that this page, when I scroll this page, let my user scroll this page without having issues. No, I don't want to see a pop up here, like all those Net Nigeria websites. Do you understand? So the UX person is determined to face the UX aspects, the experience. But in Nigeria, you have to know the both of them. That is why this class is for UI and UX design. So we are taking the two of them together. You have the curriculum. I sent the curriculum to the group weeks ago. We are taking them one by one, and we are going to finish everything. It's going to be very hectic. You will read a lot, but we are going to make sure that we finish everything and make sure that you know exactly what we are doing here. So that's all the questions I'll be taking for now. Let me just run through Figma. I really apologize for my battery being this way. I was on the road for I think I was on the road for over 6 hours, and I was actually working. So I didn't even get to charge so much. So I can actually do so much tonight. But since it's the first class, I think we can just go through with this introduction. Let's know how many people we have on board. After this, we'll take our attendance on WhatsApp, know how many we are present for day one. The recorded class will be sent so that we can all see what we did today and etc. When you create an account on Figma, this is your area of interest. What you have to do is just click on new design file. But make sure you create an account first. I'm not going to run you through how to create an account. That's like something you do for primary one. I don't expect anybody here to not know how to create an account on the platform. There's no good way or bad way to do it. You just have to do it. Those of you joining now, the class is recorded, so I will make sure that it is sent so that you guys can just run through it. It's about 25 minutes or thereabout. Okay, so this is the Figma platform, and I'm just going to run through it immediately. I just want to give you guys a very soft demo, a very soft demo. So let's say we're designing for a laptop screen such as Coursera. We'll be making use of a frame here. I'm not going to tell you how to create a frame in this class. No, it's a very simple thing. We're doing it by the next class. I just want to rush through. one very simple explanation. You can see this is a frame. If I was designing something like what we have in Coursera here, I'll be doing something like this. And see that I'll just have to reduce this. This is something we'll be doing by the second class. You're designing a web page like this as your assignment. So this is just this. And then I told you guys that responsive, of course, you can open Coursera on the laptop, you can open Coursera on the tablet device, and you can open Coursera on the mobile device. So of course we have frames for tablets as well. And then this is a tablet device, Surface Pro. This is actually too big. Let me look for, let's use this one instead for tablet. And then let's use the big boy phone 14 Pro Max for mobile. So if I was designing a responsive design, I would have something like this. I'm just using this as a quick demo. Please, this is not how I design. I have rules, but I just want to do something quickly before we run out of time so that you have something to think about when you go to bed tonight. I don't know why I'm interested in that, but I basically just like the fact that you have something to think about. You understand what I'm trying to say? So this is what we do here. I'm going to send a video explaining all of this. I'm going to record a video for the class to make up for tonight, explaining everything and how Figma works, how I did this, so that you can actually get in tune with the next class. There'll be a lot to attend in the next class, including the our design. Where's the design? Yeah, including this guy. We're starting this guy in the next class, all right? So this is Figma and this is UI UX design. All right, my people. I need to make sure that this recording saves. So 1 second, let me stop it here. I'm just going to stop.